Okay, so the last modification I want to add to this game is to start messing with the SCNCamera, and that's sorry if those projects don't make much sense, but I'm trying to cram as many techniques that I know about ARKit and SCENKit into just one project. So bear with me there. SCNCamera, if you just Google SCNCamera, you will find this is the first link. There is a ton of things you can play with. So it tells you about, what is X field of view, Y field of view, Z far, Z near. Then it tells you about, so the focal length. There's quite a lot you can play with. There's depth of field, that's really interesting. So how blurry you want your objects to be, and at which point you want them to be blurred or not. What I want to show you is, so depth of field effect, that was the one. So you need to obviously pass a focus distance and just make sure that this is set to true, which I guess we can have this as well. Maybe we can probably do this. Motion blur intensity, that's really quite cool as well. So if you move really quickly, it blurs the virtual elements of your camera feed. That's really quite cool. And then high dynamic range, so HDR, excellent really to start playing with this. What we can do here with that is to do some color grading. That's a really interesting thing that you can play with, and all you have to do is to pass just one image. We'll have to prepare the image first, but if you go into color grading in here, there's quite a lot you can read, but basically you have this basic color image that they very very briefly say, create a basic color table image. Well, I have no idea where and how to create those, but what I know is that you can just right click and save this one to downloads, or on your desktop, wherever. But yeah, you can save this one. So this one is made from this game apparently, and if you apply a grading effect, so this will now look like this, and you see that we have a different kind of like color effect to the whole scene and the whole camera. Now this also works for the live feed, and we are going to use this in our game. Okay, so this this looks like a custom color, etc. And we have, so here you can see you must enable the once HDR setting for this to work. Cool. So what we can do is to get this, so save to downloads. I'm going to close this. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to get this color grading in here. And I'm going to say this is basic. It already exists. I'm going to call that SCENKit, and I'm going to do copy and paste. I'm going to put this one in here. So what you can see is that we've got our basic one that's given to us by Apple. Here we've got what I found is a neutral color grading image. And what we can do is actually maybe use this one. Yeah, okay, so if I rename this to blue, for example, and I'm gonna create another one here that's gonna be called red. Cool. Right, so if I select blue and I open this in preview, pretty boring file so far. However, if I go and do the color adjust, you can see how apparently it's like, this is like the very neutral. I'm not an expert with this, but yeah, that looks like it's very neutral. I can see lots of bars like this, and I never saw bars like that before on colors. So what I can do is to remove the saturation completely, so you can see how now this is just all going to be completely black and white. But I can also modify the temperature, and I'm gonna make it cool, so more towards the left side of the temperature, and save it as that. Now this one here, so that was my first one. The second one, tools, adjust, not size, no, that's not what I wanted. Tools, adjust color, and in here, same, I remove the saturation, but this time I'm gonna make it warm. And obviously, once again, you are more than, I'm more than happy for you to play with this and obviously make your own saturated images to maybe look like Predator. Yeah, Predator. So blue and red now can be just added. So if I go back, not this, no, I'm just gonna keep it here. So where is it? There. Okay, so this color grading thing can be added in my assets.xc assets. I can drag blue and red in here. Now, this is where the magic begins. If you go into the view controller again, and we can have a new function that's going to be called func setup camera. Actually, I'm going to pass a cam, which is going to be an SCNCamera, like this. Okay, so once again, let's just make sure that I call this before I forget. So setup camera with a camera. So the camera is basically like this line of code in here, although I'm gonna add, so camera, and the point of view has the camera, but it's an optional again. So I try and create this camera thing. If I can, then I can set up the camera. So I'm gonna pass my camera. Yeah? Okay, cool. So where are we? Setup camera is here. Okay, so camera is actually cam, this one here. So cam, and we first can say once HDR equals true, and then cam dot, so we can pass the color grading and contents, and in here I can pass my image literal, maybe I can't. Okay, so I'm just going to do a UI image, and that is named. So what did we have in here? Blue and red, right? So blue and red. Cool. So blue, and there we go. Let's run. Let me show you how this looks. Okay, so this is what the color grading looks like. It's actually just black and white. I can't really see many colors in here. Interesting. Okay, and let's now look at red. So in here, I can change this to red. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I guess it is a bit different. This one is, yeah, still black and white, but definitely has more. Um, yeah, it's a warmer black and white, I guess. Okay, maybe my color grading file is not the best. Let's just create one last. So if I go back to my RGB table here, and this, so tool, adjust color. Okay, right, so what can we do in here? Well, maybe we just, yeah, make it cool like this with, and keeping the saturation. Maybe there was a problem. Actually, I'm gonna make this very saturated, or more saturated, like this. So what does this look like? Yeah, it's a very, very different looking color table here. So I'm gonna call this saturated, like that. Open this again, go in my XE assets, drag in here, so saturated, go in here, and that's gonna be saturated. And by the way, you are more than welcome to randomly change this every time someone finds the target, for example, or make it just black and white completely when someone hit the bomb. You know, that could be quite cool. Let's just run this again. Okay, yeah, there you go. So this is a much more saturated, so you can see how the colors are now popping. Boom, got the target. And boom, got the target. Yeah, I can see a bomb over there. Boom. All right, cool. So I guess this is all working. I'm just gonna show you a quick few more lines of code now. Okay, so where were we? Here in the cam, I can pass lots of different things. So first, we have our motion blur intensity that we can set to 1. We also have our depth, wants depth of field, and we can set this to true. Now this, if you look inside, there you will see that it works with the focus distance. Okay, so cam dot focus distance, and here I can set this to maybe 1 meter, so everything that's further than 1 meter is gonna get blurry. Then we can add a one that's actually quite fun, so cam and then color fringe strength, and we'll call this a 30, actually 10, sorry, that's gonna be enough. Then cam dot color fringe, so not strength but intensity, and that is going to be 10 as well. I'm going to keep those together so you can see what works together. So grading actually works with HDR, blur intensity on its own, those two together, so depth of field and focus distance. Then the fringe, that makes a bit of a glitch effect pretty much. Then can we add something else? Yeah, so a vignetting power, that's going to be set to 2, and then cam dot vignetting intensity, and that, my friends, is going to be 0.5. Right, okay, so let's see what this looks like, but it's probably gonna be very different camera feed. That's my AR hat, by the way. It's good, huh? Okay, right, so you can see we have our sort of glitchy effect, and if I look in the direction of there, I guess the depth of field is not very obvious in here. Okay, I need to look this way, so I've got the target. Hey guys. And if I look this way now, right, yeah, you can see how this looks a bit trippy. Feel free then make something that actually looks decent. I felt that I just, had to show you how it works, and then it's up to you to take a lot of time to tweak all of these. So you see, like this is, if I were too quick, I could hit the bomb instead of the target there, and I would be game over. So obviously, yeah, this game is sort of unfinished. You would probably want to add a timer and some points and some sort of like game over, and then replay, start again, etc. This, I feel, is more learning about UI-Kit than really learning about AR-Kit. So I'm gonna stop there and let you, carry on this this code. I feel like there's already quite a lot of new techniques in here that you can play with. Obviously, the looking at different target nodes. What else did we have? Obviously, all the SCNCamera setup thing. I think that's really quite cool. And importing OBJs and DAEs. Yeah, I think there's enough in there to keep you busy, but feel free to take it further and make a really good game that you can upload on the App Store. All right, see you soon.